Hey folks, here at OS Reviews. You're watching our throwback unboxing of the Coolpad N900. So Coolpad is a Chinese OEM that produces relatively low-cost Android phones here in 2017, and believe it or not, I haven't reviewed a single of their devices prior to this, but most of their Android offerings don't really excite me. They're relatively low-end or mid-tier Android phones that seem decent but also cheaply constructed, and they have a low price point. They're usually unlocked, and instead I wanted to pick up something a little bit more interesting. So I found an older device known as the N900, not a Nokia device, but it's actually a phone or a smartphone that ran on Windows CE version 6.0. That's right, it's a phone running on Windows CE, not Windows Mobile, which is an operating system that I seldom see on smartphones. So I wanted to take a closer look at this and how much work that Coolpad has done to cover up the fact that it has a OS that really isn't designed for smartphones. Specs include access to Wi-Fi, GPS, Bluetooth, and there is a touchscreen display that's resistive. It recognizes handwriting recognition. It comes with a stylus, and the packaging here seems a lot more expensive than the phone actually was. It was priced at around $150 unlocked, so it was definitely a low-cost phone even back in the day. And I found this new version at Taobao.com, which is a site that sells imported goods from China. So this is an unlocked dual SIM device. It supports both CDMA bands and GSM quad band bands, and you can see that it came out in 2009. This version was produced, it seems like, in November, and it's a 3G enabled handset, so no 4G. So inside here there's access to just a phone, it seems, right on top. The packaging is surprisingly nice for a low-cost device, but it seems like Coolpad did quite a bit of custom R&D. I remember reading something back when this phone was released, in terms of it might be an alternative to the iPhone at a fraction of its cost. Obviously, we know that isn't true, but regardless, it was one of the early ways in which the market or the smartphone industry was changed by the presence of the more elegant and touch-friendly iOS interface. So here is the phone. We'll take a closer look at its design in a second, and below the packaging here there are a wealth of accessories. It looks like there is a earpiece, which we seldom see today in modern smartphones, that actually uses a proprietary connector. It's a mini USB, so that is the older standard back before micro USB was popular, and it seems like there is a port on the side that we can peel away and then stick into if we want to listen to music. There's a clip, and it looks like a microphone and an OK button that attaches onto a standard 3.5mm adapter. So you have to pop in this adapter to use regular headphones. And it came with a gold-plated headphone for some music listening, but obviously you could use your own if you wanted to. And there are some tips as well for a more custom fit. There's also a spare stylus pen, in addition to what looks like a warranty card and a microfiber cleaning cloth, since the phone itself is very greasy and seems to attract fingerprints, even though I just took this out of the box. And here is the telescopic stylus, which is a little bit flimsy, but there is a spare included. And there's also instruction manuals. There's a warranty card, in addition to a user guide that's printed in Chinese and in English that documents the various features and how to operate the phone. Next, there is a case, which looks like a leather case, but it's probably just synthetic materials, but it's still a nice little extra that they threw in. It's a custom design by Coolpad. Definitely shows that a few years back, the cost for producing phones was a bit more expensive, just because all the parts were more proprietary compared to today, where a lot of chipsets have been standardized, through MediaTek or Snapdragon, and it's easier to outsource or rebrand phones that have already been made. Whereas before, it seems like most of these phones were proprietary. They had to design everything from the shell to the cases and the accessories. This is a case that actually is quite reminiscent of the LG Prada case. So if you guys remember our retro unboxing and our retro review on this channel of the LG Prada, which is a collaboration between Prada and LG, it had a similar looking case that was quite stylish, although there isn't a belt strap, which means you can't easily put this onto a backpack or something. It's just meant to protect the screen when you're not using it. Has a microfiber interior to wipe off the screen when you pop it into the case. Next, there is even more. This looks like a battery charger, but it seems like the battery must be already in place. There's a Coolpad logo, so there's an external battery charger. Maybe if you purchase additional battery packs, you can offer some charging on the go. It uses still the standard mini USB port, so you can place in additional battery packs and then charge it, as backups for the phone. Finally, there is the mini USB cable, both for data and for charging, and there is the wall plug, which is a traditional USB-based plug that you would use to charge the phone up. So again, a ton of accessories included for a relatively low-cost device. Let's take a quick look at the design of the phone next. We'll cover this in a bit more depth in our throwback review of this phone, but this has just been, again, an unboxing. Let's see if there's any power. It seems like there is a power key on the side. Let's tap on for a few seconds. And indeed, there is a bit of power. We can see Windows CE version 6.0, so that's an interesting choice. Very, very much a fingerprint magnet, just because it's an extremely shiny phone. And design-wise, it is interesting. It really reminds me of an LG phone in the fact that the material choice is very shiny and chrome-like. It's kind of like the LG Secret and the LG Chocolate series, and that came out around 2009 as well to its accessories, so it seems like Coolpad definitely drew some heavy inspiration from that Korean manufacturer. The very top here features a front-facing camera for video chatting and looks like selfies. There's also some kind of proximity sensor or a light. There's also a earpiece. It seems like select a mode. I'm going to select the flight mode. Kind of a obnoxious startup ringtone, but there's also a home key probably. It looks like a fingerprint sensor, but I doubt that it's an actual fingerprint sensor. And then on the side here, there's a volume rocker, a lanyard strap. The phone itself is made entirely out of plastic, but it feels actually pretty well built. There's no creaking or cringing at the sides, and it feels like a solid device. Again, very similar to an LG phone and how it's constructed, which is interesting. There's that cover for the mini USB, a power switch, and then it looks like the stylus slot is located at the bottom here. And finally, a 5-megapixel camera on the back with an LED flash, the Coolpad logo at the top, which is also completely flush, with a LED light that, again, reminds me of the LG Chocolate BL40 that we also reviewed on this channel. And let's peel off this protective film. So there we go. We have kind of a sparkly texture to the design of this phone, and there's a loudspeaker on the very back. So if we pop off the back cover, there's just the battery, which is a 1,200 milliamp hour capacity version, and there is access to a micro SD card slot and also a full-size SIM card slot below here for expanding the memory and adding your network or data plan. So Task Manager has been popped up. Not really sure what that is, but it seems like the interface indeed has been very heavily customized by Coolpad, because I can tell you that Windows CE looks nothing like this. It's more similar to an actual desktop than a smartphone or a touch-optimized user experience, so it seems like they did a lot of work here to cover up the negatives of Windows CE. So we'll do a bit more testing and come out with a full video in terms of a retro review, but this has been our throwback unboxing. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews. This has been the Coolpad N900, a very peculiar and unique smartphone.